everybody. How the devil? I hope all is well. It's Sunday, your favourite day of the week, because it's time for the BBC Spews with me, your host, the perpetually Angry Bootneck. Thank you for tuning in. I've had a bit of a quiet week, as you've probably noticed if you saw my video on Friday. Obviously, I was needlessly flung off the platform for a week and banned from uploading because I made a milquetoast, barely right of centre, perfectly reasonable comment. Such are the times we live in. Let's get to it, shall we? The only one of Charlie's offspring worth a wank has come out in defence of his family because he, unlike the Ginger Prince, actually has a clue and is fully aware that you're supposed to stick up for your own bloody family. I mean, that even a rat knows to look after its family, right? If you go in and crush another rat's brother's head, that rat's going to be pissed off. Yeah, the lowest vermin imaginable look out for each other. Not these fuckers though. Not since me again used those bee-stung lips to suck every brain cell out of the Ginger Prince via his flaccid, rusty, particularly unpleasant, foxy cock. Despicable. Despicable. I have to say, honestly, I've talked about it already, but I do think what Harry did was terrible. He was worshipped by the military. Everybody loved him. And he's fallen from grace in such a way that I think the vast majority of the armed forces now despise him. Has he never heard bros before hoes? The fact that folding an actress over allowed him to just be completely manipulated by it and lose all grip of reality, it's embarrassing. It's cringe. He's always struck me as being the slightly dimmer of the two, and he's just gone and proved it. Seriously, I don't like to ever say that I'm offended, because that's what snowflake lefties do. But I was extremely angry by what they did, talking nonsense to Oprah Winfrey. And it's obviously all nonsense. It was a stream of lies, endless raw sewage spilling out of Meghan's gaping maw. I don't know where to begin with it. It was just lies. That's not my opinion. It was just demonstrable lies. Archie didn't get a title because you don't get one if you're the random, great-grandchild of a ginger twat who's probably not even related to the Queen anyway. I mean, that rule of succession is over a century old, so it's a lie. Archie didn't not get a title because he's pasty and ginger. If he's black, then I am. Colin Farrell should turn up in Nigeria and say, "Hello, brothers, welcome your African prince." Because, seriously, I'm darker than Archie. What do you mean he's black? The craziest thing of these postmodernist types is this whole, you can just decide whatever you are, the war on reality, right? We've talked about the war on reality. They are mental. They are mental. And it's why the 90% hate them. Because the 90% know that what you can see and feel and touch and taste is reality. These people don't care. Up is down, left is right. A burly man can be a woman if he decides he is, and a pregnant woman can decide she's a man. You can decide anything. This isn't a fist, it's my foot. It isn't. It isn't. There is an observable reality out there. And just because you're a lunatic and you don't want to accept the fact that all of the things you think are not made manifest, doesn't mean we all have to entertain your delusions. It's crazy. She was talking about African representation throughout the Commonwealth, saying like, "Oh, I can't wait for my daughter to be born so she can represent the Africans." Do you think a pasty ginner, paler than me, if she looks anything like Archie, is black? It would be not. It's even worse than me because I'm dark and quite swarthy for an Englishman. It would be like looking at Archie. It would be seriously like someone like Prince Harry, paler, walking in to the parade, Notting Hill Carnival, And marching up to like 20 Jamaicans and going, all right, lads, I'm Jamaican. I was born and raised in Jamaica. I can be your Jamaican prince. They would look at you and say, are you fucking mental? Are you completely off your tits? You're not black. Meghan can say she's black all she likes. She isn't. And Archie, he just isn't. I don't know what else to say about it. The whole interview was a shambles. It was lie after lie after lie. They got married off the Archbishop of Canterbury with no witnesses. Doesn't make sense. Making up nonsense claims but not naming the people that apparently made the claims. Why? Why wouldn't you tell us unless you're lying? The whole thing was a shambles and I'm appalled. Mum-Ra the ever-living had more moral fibre than Meghan Markle. It's like being a spurned lover because everyone was so nice about her for the first 6 months. Everyone was supporting of the wedding and then she started being awful. So we all turned against her. And then she goes and sits there with a straight face and tells Oprah Winfrey that everybody's always hated her. It's a lie. It's a lie. And it's such a blatant lie that the 50 million people know it's a lie. And that's why everybody hates you. Because you're besmirching the entire country, our culture, our way of life, our queen, everything about Britain. What makes it Britain, what makes it distinguishable from America and all the other Anglosphere countries, and just rubbishing them all with blatant lie after lie after lie after lie. They are such brazen lies. She's got the neck of 1,000 giraffes. I can't believe she says it. You can get away with a white lie, something ambiguous. If your wife finds lipstick on your collar and you say, oh, it's probably a bit of blood, maybe you can get away with that. But her lying about the stuff she lies about is like the equivalent of literally getting caught, dug up your wife's sister and saying something like, her clothes blew off in a gale and then she was just about to get in the shower and I went to bring her a towel and then she started backing up and then as she come to get it off me she fell and then I proper suddenly thought about you, darling, and I got a massive stalk on and then she fell on it and then she had a seizure and that's why we were wiggling it around a bit. I mean, it's unbelievable. That is why she's hated. She deserves it. Anyway, rant over, let's read the story. The Duke of Cambridge said the royals are very much not a racist family in his first comments after accusations by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. He said he hasn't spoken to his brother but he will. And obviously you've all read the how dark nonsense comment. Someone said, is the royal family racist, sir? And he said, very much not a racist family. Of course they aren't. How long have they been where they are? For decades. They don't put a foot wrong, none of the main royals. They don't. Even Prince Philip, he's never proper been awful. He's made quips and comments. Observational humour. Observational humour is not racist. They all went on about Boris Johnson talking about when he's made his letterbox comments. Saying something looks like a thing isn't being critical of an ideology or a race. It just isn't. If he said, I absolutely hate insert race, that's racist. If you say that thing looks like a thing, but the person wearing the thing happens to be of a certain race or even a certain gender, it doesn't make you a misogynist, racist. Let's say a black female ginger Jewish woman is wearing a green jacket that's a bit of a puffer jacket and she's also wearing a pointy hat that's green. Saying she looks like a Christmas tree is observational humour. It doesn't mean that you hate women, Jews, blacks. Do you see what I'm saying? It's the most illogical thing ever. None of this is of interest to anyone that has two brain cells to rub together. Kate, there's a woman who actually knows how to do a fucking job properly. Me again. You fucking oxygen thief. You are a brimming Portaloo that's just fell off the back of Steptoe's wagon and landed in an orphanage and spilled your noxious fluids all over the carpet. You rancid, raddled fucking hornblower. Let's not talk about this anymore, shall we? Prince William and Kate. There's who we're pinning our hopes on now. Two people who actually know how to behave with a modicum of decency, self-respect and integrity, right? In a week of true insanity where we're banning little kids' cartoons, Pepe Le Pew, basically, he's a stereotypical Frenchman. I don't see what's wrong with that. But no one mentioned that. Nobody mentioned that. Weird. That's a stereotype. They banned him because they said he set a bad example towards women. So it's laughable. And yet, no one talks about the kids playing drill rap, which does make people misogynistic. Cardi B singing about her piss flaps on #1 singles that children twerk to. I mean, the world really has gone crazy. Every week we lower the bar. Just when you think we've completely lost the plot, we somehow manage to find a way to become even more fuck-witted. It stuns me. So here's another one. Just look how far back they're going. Teen Vogue editor Alexi McCammond apologises for anti-Asian tweets. I thought that'd be a stupid thing for a Teen Vogue editor to do. How long ago? Oh look, the newly appointed editor of Teen Vogue apologised for racist and homophobic tweets she wrote in 2011. Who thinks this is sane? Which progressive thinks this is progress? Acting like the woke Gestapo. Like, the whole racism, sexism thing's gone crazy anyway. But the fact that they go back, do offence archaeology on tweets that you wrote 10 years ago and then demand you apologise for them absolutely staggers me. And that it staggers me that nobody left of Chairman Mao has ever said, fucking hell, maybe we've got a bit far, lads. You know what I mean? Maybe we should calm down a bit. It's lunacy. It's lunacy. And she was a kid when she wrote them. She's now 27, so she was under 18 when she wrote the fucking things. Who cares? And see what she wrote? She said, got a 210 on my chemistry problem. Thanks a lot, stupid. I'm even worried about putting those two words together now because I just get banned for anything. Stupid teaching assistant. You're great. How bad's that? Again, that is not racism. Stupid. You could have said stupid black-haired Asian man. Stupid. It's just a group category. She didn't say I utterly hate all of these things and we should wipe them off the face of the earth. Right? She's exasperated because she's a child and she's done bad in an exam. It's lunacy. And like people like me have said for so long, it will never, ever, ever stop. We're in this mess because of cowardice. Our politicians are cowards. The Conservatives are the same. For the last 20 years, we've all been cowardly. We've allowed people to act like a lynch mob, to gang up on people. We haven't stuck up for anybody. We've just kept our heads down and said nothing about it. If you tolerate this, your children will be next. They will. They've come for them. They've already stuffed them in a sack and fucked off to their lair. It's happened. We all need to keep on doing this. We need to keep speaking up. If something is wrong, you need to stand up and say, this is out of order. She was a kid. It was 10 years ago. It was a quip. Get over it. It doesn't mean you're pro-hate crime. We all need to start doing it. And there's only us who will, because the left don't defend. Like I said, they love to quote Voltaire and say, I may disagree with what you say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it. But they are lying. They lie about everything. They won't defend you. They will gleefully fling shit about like a pissed gibbon when you get banned and silenced and fired and jailed or wherever we end up. In the salt mines you go and they'll go, yeah, you deserve that because you said nasty things. The world's gone crazy. We need to demand more from our leaders and we need to stop being cowardly and speak out about it. And that's what I'm doing. Like I said, I'll get banned. I don't care. I'm doing the right thing. The people that work for YouTube and Google and Facebook, when it dawns upon them, and it will dawn upon them, they won't be able to sleep at night. Why do you think I sleep like a baby? Because I've got a clean conscience, ladies and gentlemen. It feels fine. I don't tell lies. I don't mislead people. I tell you it honestly and I give you my opinion. This is wrong. She's a screaming lefty at Teen Vogue and you have to defend her because she didn't do anything. And when the right do it, it makes me sick as well. Never do this. When Justin Trudeau got caught in blackface, I mean, fucking hell, he didn't even just get caught in blackface. He wears more blackface more often than I wear fucking underpants, right? He's got a fetish for it. It's like he can't get aroused unless he's blacked up like fucking Aladdin. He's mental. But I didn't agree with dogpiling on him the way people did. You've got to defend him and say it doesn't mean anything. He was a young lad. He was fucking about. Doesn't mean he wants to commit genocide. It's mad that I seem to be one of the few YouTubers, the few people talking about this. It needs to be said constantly over and over and over and over and over again. Put your job on the line. Seriously, I will. If they try to do diversity training at work and say do some of this Robin DiAngelo shit, I would say I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I would rather live off tap water and fucking salted porridge for a decade than give my principles up to these people. They are despicable, evil people that have plunged the world into misery time and time and time and time again. So fuck them. Fuck them. Do not give them an inch. You know in your heart if you're a fucking bad person and what you said was bad. And if you didn't intend it to be bad, even if it comes across a little bit bad, fuck them. Fuck them. I've had enough of this. Poor old Alexei, I feel bad for her. She was an idiot when she was 17. She's an idiot now. But she doesn't deserve dragging over the coals for these tepid fucking comments. Honestly, the world's gone crazy. Speaking of crazy, Jess Phillips, this baggy-faced, sheep-toothed communist from the UK, has been gobbing off reading a list of women killed in the last year. And the point is what? The point is what? Collectivist identity politics? Okay then, let's just put men on a curfew. Oh what? That's crazy, no one would ever do that. No one would ever suggest that. Oh look, here's a Green Party politician.
Woman Sarah Everard was abducted and we suppose killed because remains have been found in a woodland in Kent. I would argue that at the next opportunity for any bill that's appropriate, I might actually put in an amendment to create a curfew for men on the streets after 6 p.m, which I feel would make women a lot safer, and discrimination of all kinds would be lessened.
You want to see crazy? There you go. These people are fucking lunatics. And you know what made me laugh the most about that comment that crazy, crazy communist made? Who's killed the most women in Britain in the last few years? If you had a group, right, one particular group blew up a load of little girls at a pop concert. I didn't hear anybody talking about curfews for them. Did you? Just one more from the 900 million fragments of illogical insanity from the left. Nothing they do or say makes sense. That's why they have to lie all the time. That's why they don't want to have any debates or conversations with you. Because if you talk to them in the cold light of day and you aren't completely off your box, they can't win the argument. So unbelievable, unbelievable stuff. Jess Phillips. Like, I know they love identity politics, but men is quite a large group, right, isn't it? Jess Phillips just reads out these lists as if to demonise men. She laughed when they said men were committing suicide at a vastly higher rate than women. She found that funny. She is a rank misandrist of the highest order. And if there was any justice in the world, people like her would be the ones getting fucking censored because she actually is hateful. Me, I'm an egalitarian chap. I think women should have the exact equal rights to men. Apparently that makes you a sexist. Because I think we should treat them equally. Because I don't think we should wrap them in bubble wrap and not let them out the house anymore to keep them safe, always to keep them safe. And I'm not a tyrant. I'm the fucking sexist. It doesn't even make any sense. Because women are individuals. It's down to the individual women. The women in my family were fucking rock. My grandmother was nails. If someone tried to take her on, she would stab them in the face like she was a scary woman. Women like Jess are weak as piss, victims. I don't see women as a class. I see individual women. Some of them are clever, some of them are dense, Jess Phillips. Some of them are strong, some of them are weak, Jess Phillips. Some of them are beautiful, some of them are beyond gopping. I'll just leave it there. I suppose I better cover this briefly just to tell everyone, if you don't know, if you're living in the States, murder from a psycho is still rare enough in England where when it happens, it's front page news. Sarah Everard left a friend's house, walked across Clapham Common, got murdered by a nutter. Turns out he's a copper. Yeah, that's why Jess Phillips is using it to bash men. All of them. All 3 billion of them for the actions of a serial killer or a psychopath. Yeah, it makes no sense. Well, it does if you're a lefty. Anyway, now there's a story by the BBC. Oh yeah, Women share their fears of walking alone. What do you want me to do about it? What do you want me to do about it? Instead of tweaking at my heartstrings, give me something to work with. It's like Jordan Peterson always says, right? You've got to work within the realms of reality. And when they say things like all women should never fear rape, it's an insane pipe dream. It's like saying all men should never fear being booted in the bollocks by a ill-tempered streetwalker. It can happen. It can happen. Because free people can make free choices, and some of those choices might be stupid or risky choices, but you have to allow people the opportunity to make them. Freebasing, ripped to the tits on booze, wobbly eggs and smack is a terrible idea, but I support people having the freedom to choose to do it. It's insane how the commies don't see this. Every action you take to support these people takes you further and further down the road into a full-blown tyranny where you don't have the freedom to make bad decisions. Free people have to be allowed to make bad decisions, or else you end up in demolition man. It's a bad decision to drink, it's a bad decision to smoke, it's a bad decision to gamble, it's a bad decision to go to Thailand like my mate H and go bareback with dozens of raddled prostitutes. But people are allowed to. Women have to be allowed to make bad decisions. If you want to take a risk walking through a dodgy area at 4 o'clock in the morning, you have the right to do that. And sensible women don't do things like that, and they minimise risk every chance they get, and they fit and they stay in shape and they do unarmed combat and whatever it takes. But you can't stop women being afraid because men are stronger than women in the main. It just seems like every story they spread. Look, I learned from a young age that I would have to change my behaviour in order to keep myself safe. Yeah. What society do you want to live in? Imagine if we changed it for her. If some God materialised in us and said, right, oh Grace, I'm going to square this away for you. How does he achieve it without absolute full-blown tyranny? In order for Grace Jessup to not have to worry about changing her behaviour, geld all the men, lock them in the houses, don't let men go outside. What do you want to do? Give me something workable. This is a pipe dream. You can't stop people being afraid. You can just punish people that do things wrong and educate people so they make wise choices. Why are they talking about this stuff? We're also kind of sick of the fact this is a shock to men. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. We know some people are arseholes, regardless of gender. We know. What do you mean it's a shock to men? Look at this. The issue with the argument is that women can't win, says Daisy. They want women to treat all men not as potential attackers. They want women to not treat all men as potential attackers, but then we are also asked to keep ourselves safe. Yeah. It's despicable, this stuff. They're promoting insanity. The embrace of identity politics and full-blown authoritarianism. If you're willing to trade your freedom for safety, you deserve neither. Women, you can't ever be free of the fact that men are a little bit scary because men are a bit stronger. Women are scary too in their own way. Free people have the right to go where they like and go out whenever they like and make bad decisions. Not a wise thing to do. Taking drugs, shagging prosies, gambling, drinking, speeding in your car. But free people are allowed to make bad decisions. The only way these women could get what they want is if we lived in demolition man. Is it worth it? Considering how vanishingly rare it is that women get murdered, I would suggest it isn't. And I cannot believe more people can't see it. I'm going to finish here. Kemi Badenoch urged to quit over LGBT stance. It's just more of the same. Look, right. Equalities Minister Kemi Badenoch should consider her position from the LGBT plus advisory panel. A former member of the government's LGBT plus advisory panel has said Jane Hussain quit the panel along with two other advisors over delays in banning conversion therapy. Fucking hell. So they're not even not doing it, they just delayed it a bit. Crime of the century, delaying it a bit. She told the BBC she doesn't understand the community and she has to step aside for someone who has more heart for the work. I mean, once again, right, let me just finish with some words of wisdom. for Kemi Badenoch and anybody else who thinks conversion therapy is a good idea. Right? I don't agree with conversion therapy because, unlike the left, I'm consistent in my beliefs. I believe what I've always thought, which is why I'm not anti-LGBT. Because when I was at school, we were told everything was an orientation and not a preference, right? There's no such thing as sexual preference. They would say, Matty, you like tits because you're forced into liking tits. You see a woman jog past you with the pert nipples pushing at the front of her blouse and you go, something in my monkey brain likes what it sees there. And when you see big, hairy, veiny cocks waving around in the wind, nothing moves down there. It doesn't stir your loins. I didn't choose to be that way. I was just born that way. The same is said for gay people. That's how I've always viewed it. I'm too old to change my ways now. But you're entitled to your opinion. Nothing Kemi Badenoch said is homophobic or hateful. She's just got an opinion. Free people are allowed to disagree, or at least we used to be. We used to be allowed to disagree when Britain was a free country. I don't agree with Kemi Badenoch on this, but she's entitled to her opinion. Unless you are actually fully calling for violence, you should be entitled to your opinion. And I'm entitled to disagree with her. But again, at least Kemi Badenoch is consistent with her beliefs, because the far left claim, when it suits them, that it's all about preference. It's all about preference. You want to be a man, you can be a man. You want to be a woman, you can be a woman. You want to be a short man when you're a tall woman, you can be that too. You can be that too. And then when it doesn't suit them, they say, no, it's hardware. It's hardware. It's hardwired. Women, you can have a man's brain in a woman's body. You can have a woman's brain in a man's body. You can have a demi-pan, animal kin, other kin to spirit brain trapped in a hermaphrodite dwarf body. It's lunacy. The left's position, as always, is lunacy. It contradicts itself. It wraps itself in fucking dicky bows and flings itself out the window. It makes no sense. Is it a preference? Is it an orientation? Whatever we decide on the day. Whatever we decide on the day. So you do choose to be gay then? No, you definitely don't. So you don't choose to be gay? Yeah, you do. Well, where do we go with it? I'll leave you alone to decide how insane they are. I've had enough for 1 week. I apologise if things look a bit weird or this wasn't very funny. I'm out of practice. I will keep speaking the truth. Not my truth, but the truth. The objective, visible, demonstrable truth, unvarnished, for your viewing pleasure. Thank you very much for watching. I am and will always remain, even if I'm not on YouTube, the very, very angry bootneck. Defund the BBC. Cheers.